Give me a second. I am running a little bit behind, but I wanted to make sure that I got on here and did my thug fizzle. Ooh, very loud. That's not what I wanted. Hold on. I'm trying to change this thing here. Hello, hello, hello. If you can see me, and hear me, please type all good in the comments. If you can see me and hear me, please type all good in the comments. Okay. Come on, yo. All right, we are getting started. Okay. Let me. Yes. Oh, you know what? I can't even turn this on with y'all. Anyway, let me turn that off. All right, let's go here to TikTok. Let's go to the tickies of the talk, to the tickies of the talk, to the tickies of the talk. Let's go to the tickies of the talk. Hold on, y'all. Today, we're doing things a little bit different. Actually not different. The way that we did it last week, what are you doing? I really enjoyed that. So we're going to do that again this week. Let's get you over here. Should be able to stick. See if that works. All right. TT, y'all good? TT, y'all good? Move this over here. And then we're going to get our Instagram peeps. Oh, okay. Oh man, I thought we were gonna have a guest host tonight. Okay, but apparently he can't make it, but that's okay because he will be on another time. That was, I don't know if you guys remember that I was trying to get, we were talking about the BMW screws. If you guys remember us talking about the BMW screws, I was trying to get my mechanic to come in and talk about that because he's a certified BMW mechanic. He used to work for them. So he was going to come on, but hold on one second. But he got caught up in his shop. So he's not going to be able to come on tonight, which is okay. He can come on another time. He's still my mechanic. That's still my dog. That's still my dog. All right. Now, can everybody actually no? I need to move this. I'm going to, let's see here. All right. Everybody can see me? Yeah. Ooh. If you can see me, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. If you can see me, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. All right. Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Happy. I have to share this out to some people. Hey, okay, I got one thumbs up, so I'm gonna assume that you've got this covered. All right, I need to share this out to a couple of spaces. If you are new to me, I am Natalie Pierre Lewis. I am a business and trademark attorney, and Tuesday evenings I get motherfucker. And Tuesday evenings I get on here and I teach business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. If If you don't know what that looks like, basically I'll take a story like the story we were going to talk about today. Uh, we were going to follow up on the BMW story. So a few weeks ago, we talked about how BMW they have just filed a patent for a screw, a special screw that is going to essentially lock your engine. So if you are someone who has a BMW, you will not be able to take it anywhere outside of the BMW dealership. Where is Oh, okay. I was like, what is this? You will not be able to take it anywhere outside of the BMW dealership, right? So my mechanic was going to come on here and talk about how that's going to affect him. Now, I told you guys he used to work for BMW, but now he has his own shop. He can fix any car. So he was going to come on today and talk about that, but he got caught up, so he'll be on another time. But what we're going to start today with is what I enjoy that we did last week was going over the legal concepts. So what we're going to do today, before we get into our stories, is we are going to do a quick a quick run through from my trademark toolkit ebook. Okay, I am a big nerd. So there was a point in time where I just sat down and wrote a whole bunch of ebooks about business. And if you want access to them, you can either purchase them or you can subscribe to get this segment, because we're going to run through my trademark ebook to really define it. And this may take about 30 minutes. So if you can't watch it now and you want to watch it later, if you are watching on TT, you're going to want to hit the subscribe button. YouTube, you already know the deal. Instagram as well. But my TT people, if you want access to this training where I'm going through my trademark ebook, make sure that you subscribe. Okay. So while we wait for people to get on into the room, okay, we are going to start. Let's go back to last week. So last week we were talking about how Last week we defined trademarks, copyrights, and patents, right? If you were here last week when we defined if you were here last week when we defined trademarks, copyrights, and patents, please just give me a thumbs up or tap the screen or something like that, okay? If you were here last week when we defined trademarks, copyrights, and patents, please tap the screen. Hold on. I got to get my sandals. Y'all, I started my new strength training routine yesterday and my right knee is like crying today. Give me 1 second. Okay. I got to get my shoes. Nana's knee is no good. Give me a water too. Okay. All right. So now we are back. Okay. So yes, I'm taking you guys through my entire trademark ebook. If this is something that you want access to, either the replay if you want access to this replay and you're watching on the TT, you're going to want to subscribe. Okay. So we are going to start. Last week, we talked about how you can trademark, sounds, smells, and colors, but those are kind of like the extremes. There are other things that you can trademark as well, okay? You can trademark unique words. Think about things like Exxon, Texaco, right? Words that you make up. So funny thing, when I was little, some kids have aspirations to, be a doctor, be a star. I wanted to get a I wanted to get a word in the dictionary. Isn't that nerdy? I wanted to get a word in the dictionary, right? So I'm not going to tell you what the word is because I still have a chance, all right? And y'all ain't going to take my chance from me. But let's say I wanted to, start a new company or bring out a new product line. The word that I wanted to get in the dictionary, because it doesn't exist, because it's totally new, it doesn't mean anything. I'm literally made it up, right? That would be a perfect trademark because it's a unique word. All right. As well, you can trademark uncommon names. One of the most famous uncommon names is Beyonce, right? How many Beyoncés do y'all know? If anybody here knows a Beyonce besides Beyonce Knowles, please let me know in the comments, right? And then as well, you can trademark symbols. So the Nike check, the McDonald's golden arches, I'm trying to think what other symbols are trademarked. Give me some symbols, guys. Listen, and then all right, so symbols. Let's just go with the Nike check. And then we did talk about colors like the Tiffany blue, the magenta for T-Mobile as well. Did you know that you could trademark a domain name? www.google.com is trademarked, right? So you can definitely protect a domain name. Prince has a symbol. Huh? Oh, Paul Bunyan. I am not talking bad about Beyonce at all. I love Beyonce. I was saying that Beyonce has one of the most unique names, right? It is a name that when you see it, you recognize it. You know exactly what you're gonna get when you see the name Beyonce, right? So that's what I was saying in terms of being able to trademark uncommon names. And then we have our symbols like the Nike check, like I need another symbol. Oh yeah, you said Prince had a symbol. I'm pretty sure that was trademarked. What else? Logos essentially can be considered symbols. Okay. Domain names. What is this? Domain names, colors, as well as slogans like "Just Do It" from Nike. That is a trademark slogan. Subway, eat fresh. That is trademarked. Anytime there is a phrase that goes along with the brand, that is most likely trademark. Can you guys come up with another slogan for a brand? Is there a brand that when you hear it, you automatically think of a slogan? I already gave you a couple. We had Nike's "Just Do It," and we had Subway "Eat Fresh." Does Apple have a slogan? Does Meta have a slogan? Does Netflix have a slogan? Actually, I wonder if Netflix has trademarked Netflix and chill. Hold on, I'm going to look that up right now. Trademark search. Ooh. Trademark search. All right, so hold on a second. Let me see. Oh, shoot. So so a slogan. Everybody knows the slogan Netflix and chill, right? If you have heard the slogan Netflix and chill, give me some taps. I might have to restart this TT because I don't think it's registering the fact that I'm here. Hey Kinglin, how you doing? All right. So we know the US money symbol. That might be trademark. That is something to look up. But yes, you can trademark the US money symbol. But I was talking about phrases. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Any other phrases that you guys can remember that are that go with a brand? What else? Besides slogans, you can trademark sounds, like I said, like the NBC chime, ding, ding, ding. And when you start your Netflix and it goes, cha-chong, all of those sounds, those are trademarked. You can also trademark devices, i.e., the iPhone, right? That is trademarked for devices. So there are many different, and of course, we are now getting into smell trademarks as well. The Bitcoin symbol. Oh, these are some good things. I got to look those up. I'm going to have to go through this chat later. Thank you for those suggestions. Suggestions, Pow Bunyan 9791. Okay. So now we know that the different types of things that we can trademark. We have to talk about the different levels of trademark. Okay. When you are thinking about coming up with a trademark, there are 5 different levels of in strength that will help determine whether you have a good shot against the USPTO. The first level, which is the strongest, is fanciful or coined. Remember when I was talking about uncommon words? If you make up a word, if you draw your own logo, if you create something from your mind to represent your brand, that is called a fanciful or coined trademark. And those are the strongest because you came up with that for the sole purpose of distinguishing yourself in the industry, right? So like again, let's go back to Exxon. The word Exxon has no intrinsic meaning. The word Exxon is simply a word that represents an oil company. Therefore, it is a fanciful or coined trademark. So it is a very strong trademark. We're never going to find Exxon outside of, the gas and oil industry. Okay. The next level in trademark. So that's the strongest one. Something that you make up, right? The next level is what they call arbitrary, meaning you just pick something weird to represent your company. For example, Apple. What does the company Apple make? Somebody in the comments tell me, what does the company Apple make? 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 Yes, absolutely, Power Bunyan 9791. They make tech. Do apples have anything to do with tech, guys? Do apples have anything to do with tech? I don't think so, but they have used the apple to represent their brand. Now, let's say I had actually no. So that's the second level, arbitrary. They just picked a word to represent their brand. Okay. The next level of trademarks. So we started with fanciful or coined, something that you made up. Then we have arbitrary. That's just a random thing that you pick to represent your brand. So we're losing strength now. The next one is a suggestive trademark. When you hear names like Dasani, when you hear names like Aquafina, right? What do you know about the product? What does the name tell you about the product? Okay. When you hear like Aquafina, emergency, what else? What do you think of when you hear those, right? They give you an idea of what you're talking about. Aquafina, we hear that word aqua, we're like, oh, that must have something to do with water. So that is a suggestive trademark, okay? It kind of tells you what the product or the service is about. So that is the third strongest type of trademark. So we went from the strongest, which is fanciful or coined, something you made up, to arbitrary, which is you just pick something random that has nothing to do with your product or business, to suggestive, where the name kind of tells you where what the product is. The next level of trademarks that we have is your name. Okay, can you guys give me some famous names that are trademarks? Can you guys give me some famous names that are trademarked? Now, while I wait for that from you guys, now trademarks, names definitely can be trademarked, but it's hard. The more unique the name, the easier it is. But if my last name is Smith, I'm gonna have to be pretty creative as to how I'm using Smith to represent my brand, because Smith is a very common name. However, if you have a last name like Kardashian, which is very unique, you can trademark that for your brands. And the Kardashians, we know them. They've been on TV forever. I don't know why people watch them. I do not find them interesting. But obviously, they have an audience, right? So they are able to, hello, hi, veteran Tess. Thank you for the heart me. So they are able to trademark their name because it is very unique. Now, again, if you have a very common last name, you're going to have to be careful. So if your last name is Smith, you're not just going to be able to trademark Smith. It's going to have to be like, I don't know, Smith Shoes Emporium something, right? Because Smith is very common. However, but if you have, thank you for the hearts, thank you for the taps, guys. If you are here, if you're watching, can you please, send some likes, send some taps, so people know something's going on here on the net. Let them see you, girl. Right. So you can definitely trademark your name, but that's kind of fourth in the list of strength of trademarks. Thank you, Tess, for sharing. So again, we have fanciful or coin. That is something that you make up to represent your brand, like Exxon. We have arbitrary. You just pick something random, like the company Apple. They chose the apple to represent tech. Apple has nothing to do with tech. Then we have suggestive, which kind of tells you what it's about, like Aquafina for water. Then we have names. That's Kardashian. You can put your name into your business to differentiate it, but you have to get a little more creative. There's less wiggle room there. And then the weakest level of trademarks is descriptive. If you are trying to, put fast or easy or lightning or just like random adjectives, you're not going to be able to trademark it. So let's say I'm selling apples, right? If I just want to trademark delicious, oh, thank you. Oh my God, I got a hat and howdy, partner. Y'all, I got a cowboy hat with the mustache. So if I want to trademark descriptive week, so if I'm selling apples and I want to trademark delicious apples, they're not going to take that because delicious is just a descriptive word for apples. But if I want to say, I don't know, Natalie's delicious apples, that is something that might work. That's a combination of a name and a descriptive term, right? So, but again, it gets harder. So the strongest type of trademark is a word or a symbol that you make up yourself. Then you have arbitrary, where you just pick something random. Thank you for the likes. Then you have suggestive, which kind of tells you what the product or service is about. Then you have the name. Then you have the descriptive term, which is very weak and doesn't usually get passed. Okay. So those are the 5 levels of trademarks. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you guys some tips for those of you who are out here who already have brands and you're making money, and if you're worried about your brand right now. Now, this is not going to provide you legal protection. Okay. Please type in the chat, no legal protection, so that I know you understand this tip before I give it to you. Please type no legal protection so that I know that you understand this tip before I give it to you. I got 6 people watching me over here on the StreamYard. I got okay. Thank you. Thank you, Tess. Okay. So if you have a brand name and it is not trademarked yet, right? But you're using it out there. Let's say you're, I don't know, selling jam. And I'm selling Natalie's Fantastic Jam. That wouldn't be the name. I'd make something much, much better. But I would, and I don't want anybody to take my name, I would put a small TM in the upper right hand corner. That stands for trademark. Now, again, this doesn't give you legal protection. It does not give you legal protection. It does not give you legal protection. But what it does is it's kind of like a beware of dog sign. So people know when they see that symbol that, hey, this isn't trademarked yet, but this person is working on it. All right. So just a word to the wise. Now, don't be trying to use TM for 5-10 years, and then do that. No, listen, it's a new day. It's a new day. You have thank you, Power Bunyan. It's a new day. You have got to trademark early, y'all. And we're gonna actually talk about a story tonight where a guy lost the ability to trademark his name. A master chef has lost the ability to trademark his name. I mean, it's through no fault of his own, but still, it's why you trademark early. Okay. Now, how do you get a trademark? You have to file it with the USPTO. You have to file it with the USPTO. There is no such thing. Oh, no worry, no worry. I'm good. Thank you, Lit Lab. Thank you. No worries. We are just reviewing my trademark toolkit ebook. If you guys want the replay of this segment, make sure that you subscribe because I'm gonna clip this lesson on trademarks and put it in the sub only content. Okay. Yes. So how do you get a trademark? You have to file with the USPTO. There used to be this thing where you could acquire trademark status from, just years of use. But because so many people are in business now, it just doesn't work anymore. There are no more common law trademarks, no more poor man's copyrights. There is none of that. Okay. The only way that you're going to get, hold on, I have a question. The Lit Lab said, how soon do I need to trademark? That's a good question. The Lit Lab, do you have a product or service that you are currently making money from? Do you have a product or service that you are currently making money from and that you have a recognized brand? So this thing like the Lit Lab, is that your business? Like, let's just say that was your business, right? I don't know exactly what industry you're in, but if you are, it's always best to trademark early, but you want to make sure that it's something you actually want to trademark because the USPTO is not going to give you back your money if you change your mind. So it's all going to depend on, is this really the brand that you want to secure? Yes, ma'am. And so does my son who is making lemonade. Okay. You know what? I do provide free 15-minute consultations. If you look at my page, let's set up some time to talk with you and your son. Okay. So we can see where we can get you. Hold on, y'all. I gotta get my neck fan. I'm so hot. Hold on. Woo! Woo! All right. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. Yes. Please do that. The Lit Lab. Okay. Now, where was I? You have to file with the USPTO. There are no common law trademarks, no common law copyrights. You have to file legally. Be right back. Okay. The the number of applications that the USPTO has received has quintupled, meaning it has increased 5 times than it was a few years ago. They are overwhelmed. So they do not have time for no common law. They're like, if it's not filed, it don't exist. So you need to file for your official trademark sooner rather than later. But I understand that not everybody has the funds, because just the application itself costs $350. And then if you hire an attorney like myself, depending on what state you live in, it'll cost you anywhere between, I've seen it as low as $1,000 to as high as $2,000. My trademark packages are $1,300. So, if you're gonna spend that money, you want to make sure that it's something you actually intend to use. Okay. All right. Now, let's go down here and see. Yeah. So that was the trademark segment. That was what I wanted to share with you guys in terms of the legal terms. Now, if you want access to this segment specifically for TT, if you want access to this whenever you want, I'm going to cut this and I'm going to put it in the sub-only space. So make sure that you subscribe. YouTube, YT, you know the deal. IG, you know the deal, right? But yeah, so we're done with that. And if you want the trademark toolkit, if you want the ebook itself, DM me and I will send you the link so that you can purchase. All right. But now we're going to get to our stories. That's like, that's just the top of the show. Now that we're all warmed up, we're in the place. We ready. Okay. We are starting with our first story of the evening. Okay. Y'all, how many of y'all like amusement parks? How many of y'all like amusement parks? If you like amusement parks, please type amusement in the chat. And if you have ever been to Six Flags, give me the number 6 in the comments. If you like amusement parks, type amusement. And if you have ever been to Six Flags, type the number 6 in the comments. Okay. Okay. Type the number. Hey, it's Vanjie, where I saw you popped in earlier today. Thank you for the love during my voice chat. I appreciate you. But yes, what was I saying? All right, so our first story. Do we have any people who are have you ever been to Six Flags? If you don't know what Six Flags is, it is an amusement park. They have roller coasters, and they closed the last one not too long ago. Right? But Six Flags might be coming back. So here is the deal. Some trademarks have been filed for Enchanted Parks Holdings LLC, right? And they have trademarks for Enchanted Parks St. Louis, Enchanted Parks Michigan Adventure, Enchanted Parks Oceans of Fun. And all of these trademarks are for venues that are former Six Flags locations. So there is a possibility that Six Flags might be coming back under a different name, Enchanted Parks. Now, here, the intellectual property issues. We have all, well, this generation at least, we've grown up calling it Six Flags, right? If they change the name to Enchanted Parks, how many of y'all are going to call it Enchanted Parks? Remember when Elon Musk, he changed the Bluebird app to X, and nobody calls it X. Thank you for the heart, me sugar. And nobody calls it X, right? So what if the same thing happens with Six Flags? You're trying to change the name to Enchanted Parks, apparently, but who's gonna call it that? But we will see. We will see. And the thing is, the other intellectual property issue, right? Six Flags, they have licensing with Warner Brothers for some of their rides. They have a Batman ride, and I think they have a Superman ride, right? So they have to license those characters. X is garbage now. They have to license those characters, Batman and Superman, for those rides. So if Six Flags is shut down and you open up Enchanted Parks, there's going to be a question as to whether you are still allowed to operate the Batman and Superman rides, right? So changing branding can have a big effect on your work, right? That's why companies don't like to change branding. People like familiarity. People like to know who they're doing business with. That's why the brand names can charge a little extra, because there is confidence in those names, right? So Six Flags, and they think this has something to do with trying to, eliminate bad debt or whatever. But Six Flags, they must be down bad if they're willing to change their whole identity, their whole branding, right? So if you are an amusement park person and you start hearing about Enchanted Parks, please just know that that is Six Flags with a brand new name, okay? All right. Next story that we are talking about. Okay, this is the one that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Have you guys heard of the celebrity chef James Martin? Has anyone heard of the celebrity chef James Martin? I have not heard of him. Any of the celebrity chefs that I know have been from Top Chef, because the only food competition show that I respect is Top Chef. I'm sorry. If you guys have anything else, I just feel like the other ones, they're just trying to stress the chefs out, whereas I feel like Top Chef, they're actually trying to get them to cook good food, right? But anyway, there is a master chef named James Martin. He is on ITV. Right? Hold on, I gotta pull this up. He's on ITV. So hold on a second. Wait a second. Okay. So James Martin, he's a famous celebrity chef. And like most chefs, he wants to come out with a product. He says he wants to come out with his own kind of whiskey, okay? Now, here is the problem. There was already a James Martin whiskey on the market, okay? It has been on the market. It's been around for over 100 years, and they've had their trademark since 1998. So James Martin, even though he's a celebrity chef, even though he's world renowned, even though he's got his own brand, he cannot trademark his name for this alcoholic beverage he wants to come out with, because somebody was there first. Intellectual property does not care about who you are and what your status is, right? They just care about who filed first. And in this case, the James Martin Whiskey Company, they had filed it first. So the celebrity chef has to find a different name for his liquor, okay? So again, this is why you guys want to trademark early, so that people don't steal the names. I'm going to tell you two very real stories about trademarks. These stories are real. The names might be changed, but the facts are real. One of my very first clients was coming out with a health supplements line, right? We talked about it. He told me the name. He's like, we're going to go file the trademark. And he's like, yeah, we talked about it with our friends. We had dinner. Few days later, he goes to the USPTO website to try and, file his trademark. And the friends had already filed the trademark for the name. They literally took it out from under him. So he was like, I'm not even going to fight this. And he had to rebrand. But, that's a real hassle. He hadn't come out with it already, but, they had to rebrand. And another one, is in my community here in the DMV. We had someone in our community who hosted functions, and they had a very specific phrase that they use. Everybody in our community understood that was that person's phrase, right? And they were using it for over 10 years. Unfortunately, they worked with the wrong person, and they had failed to trademark in time. So the person that they worked with, I guess they liked the phrase. They went to the USPTO. They saw it wasn't trademarked, and they went and trademarked it themselves. So now this person has lost access to a phrase that they were using to make money for over a decade. Okay, so this is why it is very important that you trademark early. Hello, Tasha's Wig Shop. Okay, so now, but yeah, this is why it's important for you to trademark early. Now, James Martin, he wasn't in the know when James Martin whiskey came out, so he can't really, there's nothing he can really do about it. But that's why it's important that you do your research to make sure that what you want to trademark isn't already taken. Because if you try and file a trademark for something that's already taken, you're going to they're not going to give you your money back. They're going to tell you, sorry, this is already taken, and they're going to be like, thank you for my $350. Okay, and that's if you try to do it by yourself. Now, if you come to an attorney like me, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the research to see if what you want to trademark is already taken, so that you don't waste your money. I had a client who came to me, and they had an amazing product, but the name was so generic. And I had to have her go. I was like, look, you need to go brainstorm for 2 weeks, and make sure, because everything that you're giving me is already taken. So you really need to do your research to make sure that your trademarks are not already taken. All right. So now when I was telling you guys about copyright protection, intellectual property protections, they don't care who you are. They really don't, including the U.S. government, but the U.S. government doesn't seem to care. So apparently, the Department of Homeland Security has been getting very busy in the social medias and posting memes and videos, trying to recruit people for ICE, or trying to I guess, I don't know, promote their deportation services. I don't know. Anyway, with these social media posts, they are using copyrighted music. Okay, they have been facing takedown notices from Kenny Loggins, from Olivia Rodrigo, from Sabrina Carpenter, from tons of people. As a matter of fact, hold on. So September 2025, a comedian named Theo Vaughn, was upset because they used his voice on a video. They used Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone in an AI video of Trump. They used the Pokemon theme song and visuals comparing undocumented immigrants to creatures that get caught for sport. This is on the Department of Homeland Security's social media, y'all. This is not some kid just doing something in the basement, right? So they're making these memes. They're making light of the whole deportation crisis, and not only that, they're violating copyright law. But they do. But the thing is, the posts keep getting taken down because the artists are claiming copyright infringement, right? Now, it doesn't stop them from making new videos, and it doesn't even stop them from taking the videos down totally, but it does allow the owners of the copyrights to get some type of financial recompense from the government. However, there haven't been any celebrities who have, as of yet, filed a lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security for using their music without their permission. I don't know if they get very far, but either way, Department of Homeland Security is violating lots of copyright licensing laws with their social media posts. Okay. Okay. All right. Now we are at one of the title stories, one of the stories that I told y'all to be here to find out. How many of y'all were here when we talked about salt and pepper? Salt and pepper's here. Salt and pepper's here. Salt and pepper's here. How many of y'all were here when we talked about salt and pepper? You know what, I might cut this show short today because apparently everybody is outside. Okay. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago we talked about salt and pepper, and we talked about how they were suing UMG, Universal Music Group, to return their copyrights for their hit songs. We talked about how there is a copyright reversion law that after 35 years, if you have sold your masters, they revert back to you, right? So Salt and Pepper, they have been in the rap game for 40 years and counting. They wanted their masters back. So they sued UMG. UMG kept saying, well, no, you don't have any copyrights. This was a work for hire. And we were all like, what are you talking about? Nobody was even worried, was even doing work for hires back then. So we have an update, and it's not good. Apparently, Salt and Pepper did not own the masters to their music. Their producer owned the rights to the music. So Salt and Pepper, they have no rights to the masters of the music that they perform, that, you know, that is being streamed. Okay. Yeah, they said they never owned it in the first place. So understand that just because you created the music doesn't mean you own it. If you don't have a copyright, a legal copyright, not a poor man's copyright, because again, we said those do not exist. If you do not have a legal copyright, okay, you don't own the thing. You don't own it. You don't own the art. You don't own the song. You don't own the dance. It is, and you know, of course, back then in the 80s, nobody was thinking about these intellectual property rights. I'm sure had Salt and Pepper been properly educated at that time, they would have been like, hey, we need a piece of that. But according to the law, Salt and Pepper have no legal rights to the masters of the music they created, because it was all owned by their producer. Okay? Do we understand? Do we understand? Do we understand? Okay. All right. But yeah, that's just this is just another reason why it's important for you to understand intellectual property, understand how copyrights work. I understand that a lot of you guys, you're artists out here, artists who are trying to make money from their art. I understand that you may not want to deal with paperwork, but you absolutely must if you want to get everything that is coming for you. As a matter of fact, here is a story for you to drive that home. Okay. Now, in the 1950s, there was a musical style called doo-wop. All right. There was a musical style called doo-wop. Bumper Clark. All right. And one of the groups, here we go. Okay. And one of the founding groups of the doo-wop sound was called the Spaniels. Okay. and they have a hit called Good Night, Sweetheart, Good Night. Somebody sent me this story, so thank you to Hotel Pennsylvania for sending me this story, right? So 1950s, the Spaniels, they've got Good Night, Sweetheart, Good Night. The Spaniels, they were a black doo-wop group. Obviously, the 1950s weren't the best time for black people. I mean, when was it? But back then you had a lot of you had a common practice of black groups singing songs and then white groups doing covers and kind of becoming the face of the song. So that happened to the Spaniels, right? Over the 50s. But what the Spaniels did that really helped them was that over the years, whenever they heard their music being used, they disputed it as a copyright infringement. Now, this is way back. They were in the 50s. So, they were pioneers of, fighting for your intellectual property, right? And they always made sure that if their music was out there being used without their permission, that they got their money. So much so that one of their descendants to this day, gets a check from her daddy's music, okay? So that is why copyrights are very, very important, all right? Okay. All right, guys. Next story that we are talking about. Do we have any Mary J. Blige fans in the house? Dang, what's it? Is that he is out of my life, and I the kids I had nothing to show. All right, do we have any Mary J. Blige fans in the house? Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember, but a few months ago I told you guys that Mary J. Blige was being sued by her former stylist and former best friend, Misa Hilton. Now, Misa Hilton, if you don't know, she was the go-to stylist for Bad Boy. She styled Little Kim, Mary J. Blige, Faith, all them people, Missy, and she's also Diddy's baby mama, right? So a few months ago, Misa Hilton sued Mary J. Blige, saying that she interfered with her artist. So apparently, Misa Hilton represents an artist by the name of Vado. He's a rapper. And they were signed to Mary J. Blige's record label. I didn't know she had a record label, but get your money, girl. Anyway, so Misa Hilton files a lawsuit saying that Mary J. Blige was preventing what was holding her artist's music and wouldn't release it and wouldn't allow him to tour because Mary wanted him to break his contract with Misa Hilton and sign with her, right? So this is what Misa Hilton tells the court, and she tries to sue Mary J. Blige for $5 million. Okay, now when you sue someone, you need to follow up, right? Especially if you're trying to sue someone for $5 million, I would think that you would pay attention to any summonses and communication from the court. So Misa Hilton and her lawyer just basically, after they filed the lawsuit, they just forgot about it. They abandoned it. They didn't respond to anything from the court. They acted like nothing happened. Now, Misa Hilton, she says that it was because, she was being, this was during the height of Diddy's trial, and she was receiving threats, and she was, out of her mind, But, and all that could be well and good, Misa. But that's why you have attorneys. So even if you're not feeling up to the task, your attorneys are supposed to be taking care of it for you. Either way, Misa Hilton and her attorneys, they never followed up on the lawsuit that they filed against Mary J. Blige. So Mary J. Blige got a default judgment in her favor. Um, ooh, ooh, ooh. Wait, did I erase this? Yes. So I say that to say this. If you're going to file something with the court, make sure that you're going to follow through, because the court can also penalize you for wasting their time. It costs money to have a trial. It costs money to pay for discovery. It costs money to hire lawyers. So if you try and play with the court, they don't like that. So if you're going to file a lawsuit, you better go through with it, okay? Ooh, excuse me. Okay. Oh. Next story that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So, last year, I told you guys there was that Chris Brown had filed a lawsuit against Warner Brothers. Thank you for the likes. Thank you. Chris Brown had filed a lawsuit against Warner Brothers last year for $500 million, claiming defamation because they released a documentary called A History of Violence about Chris Brown. And Chris Brown was like, I can't believe this. So he sued them for defamation. Now, to sue someone for defamation, you have to prove, one, that the things that the person are saying about you are not true, and two, that they caused you harm. So Chris Brown, he filed this lawsuit against Warner Brothers, and he has lost. Why has he lost? The court said, and I'm going to give you the direct quote. Give me a second. Excuse me. I'm so stuffy. Okay. So the court said that this documentary falls within protected speech, allowing the creators to continue presenting allegations and public records about Brown's past. Basically, they said, Chris Brown, it's not defamation if it's true. They are using your rap sheet. They are using your arrest records. Nothing that they are saying in this documentary cannot be fact checked. So they're like, this is protected. They didn't lie. There was no defamation. So they have dismissed Chris Brown's $500 million lawsuit. The defense to a defamation lawsuit is if the allegations are true. Okay, if the allegations are true, you can't really claim defamation. All right. Okay. So that's the other story that I want to talk to you guys. Are you guys good? Y'all all right? Let me know what's going on over there. What's happening over there? All right. Okay. So, yeah. So actually, you know what? We are just at about an hour. Actually, let's go for 4 more minutes. We're going to make a full hour, and then I'm going to log off. So let's do one more story. Let's do one more story. Okay. So, I don't know, a while ago, so this has to do with Elon Musk. A while ago, Elon, he was sued by all of the big music houses, Sony, UMG, over X, because they were saying that he was allowing people to use music without proper licensing, right? So they sued Elon Musk, but they lost because the court was like, it's essentially not X's fault that people are violating this. So now Elon Musk is suing all of the big music houses. He has countersued, saying that he has paid exorbitant amounts for copyright licensing, for music, and he's coming after them. So copyrights are a very expensive and very public way to go at it as large companies, okay? Because this one's saying you don't have the copyright. This one's saying I paid for the copyrights, right? So they're suing each other over copyright licensing and costs and things like that. But I expected that from him because that's just the type of person he is. All right. Now, if you missed the beginning of the show when we went over my trademark toolkit, for those of you who are joining us from TT, you're going to want to hit the subscribe button because I'm going to clip that part and put it in the sub-only posts. My IG and YT people, you know the deal. You know how to access everything, okay? But I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me this evening. I want to thank you for your attention. I want to thank you for your engagement. I will be back during the week in the mornings talking to you guys because I just get a much better response in the mornings. I guess, you know, I have a more captive audience in the morning. But I will be on tomorrow morning recapping what we talked about here tonight. So, but on TT only. So please join me on TT, NPL Consulting LLC, 7 a.m.ish tomorrow morning. Okay. Hey, Sunflower. I'm heading out for, I'm actually logging off for the evening, sugar. Yes. But I'll be on tomorrow morning at 7. Okay. I miss you. All right, guys. Good night. All right, I gotta end all these streams. All these people. End stream.